Ron Schara here with my daughter, Laura Schara. Again, we are hosting the 2022 Game Fair coming up in August. So we're going to highlight what's new this year, what favorites are back, and our favorite Game Fair stories. After, 40 years, Laura?
Yes, 40 years. Come join us at Game Fair.
Come visit Oliver Kelly Farm near Elk River, where you can learn about the past and present of agriculture in Minnesota on a real working 1860s farm. Explore the historic homestead of Oliver H. Kelly, founder of the first successful national farming organization, and get up close with the animals, gardens, fields, and nature areas. Step back in time and experience life on a farm over 150 years ago. Learn more at mnhs.org/Kelly Farm.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Minnesota Bound podcast, the stories behind the stories. I'm Laura Schara, along with my dad, Ron Schara, today. Dad, how are you doing?
I'm so happy to be your daddy.
Well, I'm so happy that you are my dad.
Well,
and it's so
thank you.
fun to do a podcast together. It's been a while.
It has been. And we're going to talk about a very special event.
Well,
right?
What is it? What's the event coming up?
Well, I've only been to it 40 years.
Well, hopefully you remember what it's about.
It's the 2022 Game Fair. Now, a lot of people say, what's that? Is it about Monopoly? No. Is it about merry-go-rounds? No. It's just Game Fair. It's about an outdoor exhibition of outdoors with dogs and trick shooters and exhibitors, etc. And it all coming up this year, 2022, August 12th through the 14th and August 19th through the 21st. 6 big days, 2 big weekends. And we're going to take a look today about what's new, what's back, and a few old tales from Game Fair, right?
That's right. Well, Game Fair originated, it's hard to explain what Game Fair is until you actually attend it. So Game Fair is similar to what they used to do in Europe back in the early 1900s as far as showing off their hunting skills, their dog trial, field trial skills. Is that correct? That's where it originated, this whole Game Fair concept.
It did, and it actually still goes on in Europe. But Chuck and Lorelei Delaney, who own the property where Game Fair is being held at Armstrong Ranch Kennels. Lorelei was a world-class trap shooter, and they were in England, and England was having its Game Fair, so they went to it and watched people training dogs, working, maybe not necessarily training dogs, but talking about how to train or doing dog tests. They had people, how to sharpen knives, just all kinds of skill exhibitions, etc. And it dawned on them that could really work in Minnesota. So they came back and developed the concept of a Minnesota version of Game Fair and started it 40 years ago.
So Game Fair is held outside, which is nice. It makes it different than your traditional sports shows, et cetera, which are in, convention centers and things. So this is outside.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine. It covers 60 acres of land. You are welcome to bring your dog, which I think is, for me personally, is one of the coolest parts of Game Fair, is everybody's welcome to bring your dog. Small, large, hunting breeds, non-hunting breeds.
Whatever, yeah. Poodles to giant mountain.
Great Danes. You see everything there. But the reason being is that they have, in alignment with what a true Game Fair was over in Europe, they have a lot of fun doggy games, as they call them, which are similar to what you'd see at field trials, but this is not a field trial. This is just for fun, for awards. You can win some free dog food.
Long jumps, speed retrieves.
They have
like
blind retrieves.
Right.
They have shed hunting. You can test your dog in shed hunting. I think it's $1 to bring your dog, see if they can do some shed hunting. And so that's part of, I think, the uniqueness of Game Fair is that it's outside plus all the dogs.
Right. And what was the doggy game where the dog scurries through things and
Obstacle course. Oh, agility.
Agility.
Yes,
yeah,
they
that's a
have
lot of fun.
agility demonstrations.
That's a lot of fun to watch,
Yes.
as well as put your dog into it.
I don't know if they allow dogs in the agility ring.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Well, because when I wanted to try Bacon through the agility course, they are really particular about if dogs are going to lift their legs on the equipment there.
Oh,
So
well,
I don't
maybe
know,
they've-
Dad.
maybe
I don't
they've
know.
changed.
They unless your dog's gonna wear a diaper, I don't think they're gonna let your dog in the agility course.
We'll see what Bacon will put up with that. By the way, as you explained, it's difficult to explain what GameFair is. Their website is www.gamefair.com.
Gamefair.com for more information.
Yeah. So anyway, you mentioned the dogs, and you're right. There's very few places where you're invited to bring your dog, so that makes it unique. People also can walk in with their shotguns in a case because there's shooting games there too, which is unique as well.
And there are a lot of seminars on how to be a better shot. If for females and for males, there's some trap shooting going on, as you mentioned. You're welcome to bring your shotgun. They'll store it for you, so you don't have to carry it around all day. But there's also a lot of vendors there that you're able to test out new shotguns. If you're looking for a sporting gun or a field gun, they have a lot of different options there. In fact, that is where I first tried my new Siren shotgun, which I'm finally
Really?
have.
Can you hit anything with that thing?
I can.
Oh,
Because before I was struggling, Dad, as you know, and we're not going to get into that because I know that could be a full hour podcast.
Let's concentrate on just how good a shot you really are here. I mean, really.
Well, let me just explain some of my struggles that I've had, and I actually
Do we
did
have
a
time
podcast.
for this?
Well, it's going to be short and sweet,
Okay.
but I have shared numerous times that trying to get a gun that fits properly for me has been a little bit of a struggle because I originally tried a regular quote-unquote men's shotgun and had it shimmed and worked with a gunsmith, and it still wasn't really fitting correctly because it was a semi-auto, and I think the plastic, you weren't really able to shave the comb down, whatever. And then I went to the youth model thinking that would be a better fit for me. And in fact, that was too short and too small because I am 5'6", so I am a little bit too tall for that type of gun. So I was struggling with that. And I was at GameFair, and I was in the Arms and Arms tent by chance, and somebody there was an expert with Siren, which is a brand new female-only shotgun company. And they are out of Italy, part of Cesar Guarini. And they just said, hey, why don't you shoulder this, see how it feels. And I was like, wow, this feels like a glove at the moment. And she's like, well, come over here to the trap range, and we'll take a couple rounds with it to see how it feels just for fun. And I really wanted to take it for a spin. So we did, and I hit both clays right away, which...
it would even shock me,
I know, right? Easy.
I know. I'm getting too rough now.
However, that was where I, because of all the options there, that's where I found my Siren shotgun, and I love that gun. It fits like a glove. So there's a lot of things for women there too.
Yeah, the lesson is you can get these things at GameFair, but that's part of the attraction of GameFair is you can try stuff. You can if you're wondering about how to sharpen a knife, they have people selling knife sharpening devices. You can try. It's just a lot of things. We'll get into more of that, but I want to get back to these dogs because there are 5,000 to 6,000 dogs coming there over the 6 days, and I can tell you that over the 40 years I've been there, I can think of maybe 3 dog fights, and I go, whoa. So why is that? How come you can have all these dogs here? They're all on leashes, of course, but you can have all these dogs, and sometimes the owners don't pay any attention. They're looking at something. Their dog is looking at another dog, and they're not paying attention. Why aren't there more fights? And the dog trainer, who I respect, said to me, and I totally agree with him, he said, this is because every dog there is on neutral ground. It is not their place, and they don't feel threatened, just the situation. And so nobody wants to be King Kong there. So consequently, you might see very seldom a growl. That's very seldom. You might see a hair raised on the back a little bit, but for the most part, there's no there's no fights. In fact, I'll say this: years and years ago, my black lab was laying at my feet at the information center. There's a curtain goes down in front of the table, so nobody could see where I was sitting, or they couldn't see the fact that my lab was laying at my feet underneath the table. When a little dog stuck his nose under there, and my lab says, "What's that?" Boom.
Well, there's a
Munched him.
well-behaved dog.
And caused some stitches.
Well, if you remember, I grew up at GameFair pretty much. My sister and I, my dad's been emceeing it for are we at 41 years?
40
years. And so my sister and I were dropped off basically in the morning and let loose to run wild around GameFair all day long until about 6 o'clock at night. So we just show up at my dad's side for cash, for food, and then leave again. So we would take his dog on walks. We had this is before Ravens. So this dog, I believe his name was Kyla.
Exactly right.
And I had Kyla at one point, and she got into a little fight. We talk about no fights, and whose dog's fighting? Our old lab was the one that was in trouble a lot. But she got into a little snarl when I had her, and I was terrified because, of course, I was little. But you're right. You don't see a lot of dog fights. What you do see, and if you're going to bring your dog to GameFair, if it is a very hot day, please be mindful if your dog has long hair. We have had some heat stroke out there, though, with dogs on really hot days, and not making sure that your dog is cooling down. So there are plenty of places for water. GameFair is located on a lake. You can send your dog in the lake. There are kiddie pools that they fill with water to get your dog's feet wet. There's hoses. You can actually hose your dog down. But just to be mindful that you're paying attention to some heat signs. Specifically, we have a vet that is at the information center, and he is always there to help answer any questions for free, Dr. Dennis Gallenberg. And he always said if your dog, and this is a good tip for anybody during the summer, if your dog's tongue is starting to get a little thick in the back, like when they're panting, and then you notice that it's thick, that is the first sign that they are already on their way to heat stroke. So hunting in the hunting field, that's a good tip. Also, if they get a little foamy around the edges of the back of their mouth, that's another sign that they are a little bit in distress. So those are the things to look out for before your dog gets in serious trouble, because the vet did say that once they are beyond that point, it is really challenging to bring them back, and they can go down real quick.
We're talking about a great outdoor event in Minnesota, GameFair, coming up. The 2022 version is coming up here August 12th through the 14th and August 19th through the 21st at Armstrong Ranch Kennels, just outside of Anoka off Highway 10, Armstrong Boulevard. Laura, we're going to continue our chat about GameFair, but I think it's time we take a little break and hear from some of our great sponsors.
Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs began in a small south-central Minnesota town with a mission to make dock install and removal easier by inventing the Roll-A-Dock. Well, now the company has evolved to provide everything you might need to improve your lake time. In addition to the classic Roll-A-Dock or the new Ultra Dock system, Hewitt offers all-terrain staircases, gangways, canopies, and lifts, along with any accessory you might need. Celebrate 50 years of business with us. Go to HewittRad.com to enter for a chance to win a free dock and monthly prizes. Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs. Work hard, play harder. You deserve a Hewitt.
Hey, it's my turn to talk about the greatest drinking water, bathing water period I have in my home, all brought to me by the Connecticut water system. Connecticut. I've had it for years. You've heard me perhaps boasting about it before. Connecticut, I can't speak highly enough of it. Just from the top, no electricity. That's good. Uses very little salt. And just a little background, where I live along the Rum River, north of Anoka, the water, when I bought that home, full of iron, stained everything, and it didn't smell very good either. The Connecticut folks came in, put a system in there. All of the iron stain went away. the odor went away, and in its place, I ended up with great drinking water right at the kitchen sink, or great water for showers, etc. I just can't say enough about Connecticut. So check them out at
Connecticut.com. Did you know that a propane gas furnace lifespan averages 20 years, while electric heat pumps only last about 14 years? And propane furnaces work in all temperatures while delivering warm and consistent heat in your home. Why buy 2 heating systems when propane furnace can do it all? Lasts longer, works better, and costs less. These things and more are being done today with propane, the right energy right now.
All right, welcome back to the second edition, second portion, I guess I should say, of the Minnesota Bound podcast. Laura, Schara, my lovely daughter, and yours truly, talking about GameFair. GameFair, as in case you're just joining us, coming up this summer, 2022, August 12th to 14th, August 19th through 21st at Armstrong Ranch Kennels, north of Anoka. And Laura, one of the things that I've enjoyed over the years is that one of the most popular exhibitions at GameFair is a trick shooter. And there have been several of them over the years doing amazing things. As I like to say, I've had the privilege of introducing them all, but I like to say they do magic with a shotgun. And for the last couple of years, we've had a trick shooter by the name of Travis Mears. He's a good old Texas boy. And my gosh, he can jump up and down on a trampoline and still hit the birds. He can shoot behind his head, from his hip, between his legs, whatever. And he can make a salad with his shotgun with watermelons, cabbage, and everything else. But anyway, it's free, of course, to go watch him. He performs twice a day at GameFair. But truly, if you want to see magic with a shotgun, somebody who makes shooting clay birds so easy, you go, wow, can I do that? And usually the answer is no, you can't.
That is true. Travis Mears is fascinating to watch, and you're spot on when you say that they make it look so easy. They'll throw 4 clays with their hand up into the air, and then they grab their shotgun, and they're able to hit all 4 of them while they're dropping. And a couple years ago, I went out with the Gould brothers. They're also trick shooters, and they're local. And I did a story for Minnesota Bound on trick shooting. And they tried to teach me how to do a trick shot, the easiest one in the book. And basically where you throw 1 clay and you take your shotgun and you shoot it from your hip. And I think we were there like 45 minutes. I couldn't do it. I was so close, but you think it's right there that you'd be so easy to hit one, and it's really challenging. So you don't realize their level of talent and their skill until you try something, probably one of the easiest shots they have. And then you realize when they're out there, throwing charcoal from a charcoal bag and with their hands, and all of a sudden they're hitting 5 pieces of charcoal or even 1 piece of charcoal, and they hit it 6 times in a row.
Right.
You're like, okay, they've got some talent.
This is how I know we're related, Laura, because years ago, the first trick shooter at GameFair was named John Satterwhite. And I'm like you, when he was done one day, I wandered down there because I was introducing him and then saying, hey, give a nice big hand to John. Anyway. So he and I are down there, and I said, that's shooting from the hip. I could do that.
Easy.
He says, well, here, hand me a shotgun. And he even threw the clay bird just right out in front of me. He says, now shoot it from the hip. I was like you. I didn't shoot for 45 minutes, but I shot about 10 shots, never hit that bird. He says, just point your finger. They make it look so simple because he could throw one up over here, over there, out in front, way up high, and smash them all the time from the hip. Anyway.
Well, and they take their gun and they shoot from behind. They'll put it over their head and lean back, and they're hitting things. And you just wonder, what is the learning curve on that? How long did it take them to learn all of these things? So, and Travis is the nicest guy. If you stop him afterwards and ask him questions on his ability, his talent, where he learned it, how does he do it, he'd be more than happy to talk with you.
Well, I think he also, he adds things, takes things out of his act. But at one time he had, shooting something behind him, his shotgun's on his shoulder, and he's looking in a mirror. And
wow.
Somebody throw it up behind him, and he can hit it by looking in the mirror. So
That's incredible. That's like the Tiger Woods level of shotgun shooting.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And you don't realize it until you really see it with your own eyes, and you really don't realize it till you try it yourself.
You know, we haven't mentioned archery yet,
Yes.
Laura, and there are archery equipment there. There's archery shooting for kids, and there's a contest that anybody can get into, shooting at an arrow at 100 yards, breaking a balloon or whatever. And if you qualify, you can come and get into the finals and win $100 by hit.
Is it only 100? I think it's like 1,000 or something.
I don't know. Well,
Let's just give out crazy numbers.
we'll
get
use
people
some
there.
of your salary there to raise it up.
Of course, we don't know how much cash you're going to win, but you're going to win cash.
Exactly.
Another thing that, which is a big, unique thing about Game Fair is the amount of raffles and drawings and things people are giving away. And a lot of it, like Ducks Unlimited does a huge raffle, of course, raising money for Ducks Unlimited, but they are giving away like epic prizes. We're talking about Benelli shotguns, Berettas, all sorts of really unique prizes, including wildlife art. And so there's a lot of opportunities to win a lot of really cool prizes at the same time of donating to some great causes. And speaking of wildlife art, that's a whole nother part of Game Fair.
Yes, in the art barn, or the Brown Art Barn building, we call it.
Yes, there's wildlife artists painting.
Michael C. will be there. He's one of Minnesota's great wildlife artists. There's a whole
Incredible art.
room full of art there.
Plus, decoy carvers are carving right in front of the art barn where you can watch some of the world champion decoy carvers.
Right.
They're there, like carving decoys. Everything you want or love about the outdoors is at Game Fair.
There are also champion duck and goose callers there. No, you're not one of them, but I know you've tried. And
yeah, well, I'm close. I'm close. If you watch that episode,
but you can learn.
Sounds almost close to a cat, but
you can learn there. You can
yes,
learn. Yeah.
you can learn. They have the duck and goose calling championship in the contest. They have a youth contest. They have adult contest. Right. Again, that's sponsored by Ducks Unlimited, and I believe those people go on to one of those goes on to the championship in Stuttgart, Arkansas.
Exactly.
So it's a real deal.
It is the real deal. Absolutely. And there's a place called Waterfowl Hill. That's the name of it. That's because all of the waterfowl-related exhibits, like I didn't know so many people made duck calls, but they do, or sell decoys, all kinds of things, including Ducks Unlimited's up there. And we haven't talked about seminars yet, Laura, because there are fishing experts. Steve Carney gives a fishing seminar. There are a number of wonderful dog training seminars. You can just sit and listen and learn all kinds of tips from some of the best dog trainers in the country. Tom Dokken and others are there, from topics about how to start your puppy training, from housebreaking to whatever.
Blind retrieves, e-collar training, how to train. They're doing the drone thing with, training people how to use a drone, I guess.
That's a little advanced.
That is advanced. It's a little complicated. But, hey, it's there. There's lots of, and there's things for pointing dogs and, of course, flushing retrievers and things like that. But one of my favorite hunting companions at Game Fair, which I think makes it most unique, is the falconry tent.
Is what?
The falconry tent.
Oh, yes.
So they have
Frank Taylor.
Yes, Frank Taylor is there with his friends, and there is all sorts of different falcons there. And, falconry, a lot of people don't know. Falconry is thousands of years old. I had to look it up. They have found suggestions. They found art of falconry that may have begun, earliest accounts, I guess, dating around 2000 BC. That's how old falconry is, which is pretty incredible. And Frank Taylor's been in falconry many, many years.
Only 1,000 years.
Yeah.
But Frank comes up ahead of we have a big audience there waiting for the trick shooter. So we do a doggy parade of all the different dog breeds that are there. And then Frank comes up holding a red-tailed hawk. Mims is the hawk's name, and he hunts with it. He says, because Mims is better at catching rabbits than he is with a shotgun, which is kind of a joke. But anyway, so my joke when I introduce him is saying he's with a chicken hawk, and the audience laughs. Frank laughs. But in truth, we make sure people know this. There's no such thing as a chicken hawk.
That's true.
Now the reason I use that joke is because my father, bless his soul, every hawk in the air was a chicken hawk. I mean, back then they lived on the farm and chickens were free roaming chickens, and you did not like hawks because they would nail one, and that's how you got your eggs and your meat. And so every hawk was a chicken hawk and worthy of dying. But so it's a joke. There's no such thing as a chicken hawk out there, folks. But this red-tailed hawk is a wonderful bird to look at up close.
They have a lot of different breeds of falcons there, too. At one year, they had a golden eagle. And if you have an opportunity to see a golden eagle in person, that is incredible. Their wingspan is over like 8 feet. They're huge.
Exactly, huge.
And I don't know if the golden eagle is there every year, but one year they did have one there. And sometimes they'll bring birds that are in rehabilitation that will be sent back out to the wild and things like that. But that's like such a cool part of Game Fair. And a lot of people aren't able to get that close to falcons, and you get really close. You'll be able to see how they work with them. And that's such a unique thing to see up close. It's pretty
By
cool.
the way, golden eagles, there aren't many of them in Minnesota, but there are a few that winter in the southeast part of the state. So it's kind of nice to know.
When I was just in Alaska, we were taking a quick helicopter tour of the Matanuska Glacier. We got to see all 27 miles pretty much, and right above us in the middle of nowhere, soaring so high up in the air, was a golden eagle. And
Cool.
even then, it looked huge.
Let's take another break, and when we come back, we haven't mentioned the great food at Game Fair.
All those
And-
why you have to catch, Dad, for the
Yeah, I
fish
know.
fry. I mean,
It's a lot
you better get busy. You
Lot
got
of
work to do.
pressure. A lot of pressure, Laura. And tell the folks where they can find you and me. So anyway, we'll be back with more of the Minnesota Bound podcast right after this from more great sponsors.
Hey everybody, Bill Shirk, the man about the woods. It's time to plan your fall hunt in North Dakota. Get this, with an estimated 3.4 million breeding ducks, North Dakota's central region is prime habitat for hunting waterfowl. In fact, right now, the state's breeding duck index sits 38% above the long-term average. And the water's up too. The spring water index is up 616% over 2021. That's a good thing. Now, when you consider that North Dakota has approximately 700,000 acres of private land open to public walk-in hunting, guess what? You've got an outdoor oasis. For the latest information about public hunting lands and private land open to sportsmen and women, visit North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Bag your limit this fall in North Dakota. Visit legendarynd.com.
Hi there, Ron Schara here for Star Bank. If you're putting your money into mega banks down the street, who knows where that money's being used? Bank locally. Keep your money local with a community bank that actually cares about you, your family, your business, and your goals. Check out the bank we use at Minnesota Bound. Try Minnesota's own Star Bank. You can find them online at starbank.net. When you call Star Bank, you actually hear a real living person answering the phone. Star Bank has 10 convenient locations around Minnesota to serve you and all the mobile banking products that you need to manage your money. Check out all that Star Bank has to offer at starbank.net.
Welcome back to the Minnesota Bound podcast, the stories behind the stories. I'm Laura Schara, hanging out with my dad, Ron Schara. Today we are talking about Game Fair. It's an outdoor festival coming up August 12th, 13th, 14th, also on August 19th, 20th, and 21st. It is the 40th year of Game Fair, and there are so many things to do at Game Fair that we just don't even have enough time to cover them all.
And you mentioned the fact that when you were a little girl that you hung out there because I was there, and you and your sister Simone. You left out part of the story because as you got a little bit older, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, you were hired by Game Fair to scoop ice cream, and you did it so well that your nickname became Scoop.
Yes.
Scoop Laura. And then
And it wasn't for pooping scooping, thank God. It was only for scooping ice cream.
Well, there were pooper scoopers.
There were.
On the ground. These were
I didn't have that job, thank
These
goodness.
are more like guys like our producer, Intelligence, who were paid to go around and pick up dog droppings. Anyway, Laura showed up one time with the fancy jeans, you pay extra for. They have all kinds of holes in them.
Oh gosh.
And Chuck Delaney, the owner of GameFair, looked at that.
Let's just say Chuck Delaney's like really old school. Like he is, I'm surprised we don't require suits and ties to show up at GameFair. I mean, he's that old school. But keep going.
And did he fire you there or just
I
say
think it was like a warning.
Go home?
I was like 14 years old and almost got fired from ice cream scooping because I had a hole in my jeans. But and the funny part is he's still Chuck today. Now I you and I host on the microphone and MC GameFair all day long. And he's still every year always is looking at my jeans, waiting for me to show up with a hole and jokes with me about it that he could still fire me on the spot if I had a hole in my jeans. But I mean, people pay a lot of money for those holes in jeans. I'm telling you.
Well, you're probably the most
ahead of the trend.
Think of it this way: you're now the most famous ice cream scooper they've ever had at GameFair.
Well, they still call me Scoop when I show up there. They don't even say Laura; it's Scoop.
And that's been a few years.
It has been a few years. Yeah, the food is good there.
And well, speaking of the food, we mentioned the walleye dish there, the walleye fingers, and I always joke that I just caught those this morning. But there's all kinds of things. Your ice cream
gyros,
dishes,
burgers, walking tacos. They've got sunfish fry.
There you go. Yeah,
they have turkey legs. They have ice, fresh lemonade, ice cream. I mean, really, you name it. There's all sorts of food there. It's
and
kind
breakfast.
of endless.
They have a pancake breakfast too.
They have pancake breakfast. They have egg burritos, I think. I mean, really, you could eat all your meals there all day if you wanted to. The one thing they do not have, which not many people ask for, but they do not serve alcohol on GameFair grounds, rightfully so, because obviously there's a lot of people bringing in shotguns and things. So alcohol and ammo and things like that don't go together, obviously. So it is a sober event, which is right up my alley.
Yeah, and it's a family event.
It is a
so
family
you
event.
don't need a dad there over drinking his beer or whatever. And that's been a policy of the Delaney's since the very first GameFair, because when you're invited to bring your shotgun, as you mentioned, or shooting games, you don't need somebody out there shooting games that's just drank a 6-pack of beer. So no alcohol there. You can't even bring any on the ground. So and that's just a good policy, as you mentioned. Now we haven't told folks where you and I will be at there. They can come by and say hello.
Yes, we love chatting with GameFair goers. We hang out at the Information Center, which is located at the center of GameFair grounds, all day, every day. And GameFair is 9 to 5, all 3 days, and both weekends. And we will be at the Information Center from 9 to 5. Sometimes my dad's not there because he's out introducing guests or seminars, and sometimes takes a little bit longer to get back to the information tent. So I end up holding down the fort for an extra long time alone.
Are you whining?
He's out chatting.
Is this whining?
Milling around with his friends. And I was like, wait.
I have autographs to sign,
yes,
Laura.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
So, yes, please come visit us. Stop by. Dad, you will be selling your new book and your calendar at the Information Center.
Exactly.
That's also a very popular stop. I don't know if everybody knows that you have a new book out. What's the title of it?
Rancheros, Minnesota, mostly true tales of a life outdoors. Yeah.
Which is a book that's comprised of a lot of your adventures and stories over the years, and sharing what those were in a book. And you've had a lot of really good feedback on that book.
I have had good feedback.
Yeah.
It's, a variety of things, everything from my youth, squirrel hunting, how I was the best squirrel hunter in
all the land,
Elmickey County, Iowa. No, I didn't go that fast. That was a title I gave to myself.
Of course.
Best squirrel hunter. But things that you can learn sitting in a tree, deer hunting, some animal rights people who would send me threats because I shot a squirrel and ate it. But just a variety of stories. Some fish that got away. Stories about, for example, how the Rapala lure was discovered in Minnesota. A lot of people don't know that. Also, how it came to be that I played a role in finding the world record white-tailed deer. that was thought to be a Minnesota deer, but after the research came out that I initiated, it turned out it was a Wisconsin deer.
Oh no!
Yeah.
How'd they find that out? Did they have a driver's license?
No.
On Earth.
Just the story was the true story. The guy shot it along the Yellow River, which is in Wisconsin, and they thought it was a Minnesota deer because the head antlers were found years later in a Minnesota town, so they thought it was shot near there. Anyway, stories like that are in the book, and the calendar, of course, is a popular item, but the new 2023 calendars will be out.
Let's just talk about how long this calendar's been around. This calendar was born in like 1986, was it not?
87.
87.
Yeah.
That calendar has been around for a long time, and it's like a great calendar, and people love this calendar. They stop by to get this calendar from you every single year, and the reason they love it, and I feel like we should explain this, is that the calendar has wildlife art in it. So you commission wildlife artists to submit their art for the calendar each year. So each year, every month is a different piece of wildlife art, and what people really appreciate about this calendar that you can't really get from a digital calendar, and that's why I think this calendar is still so popular today, is that people will cut out those pieces of art, which are probably like is it an 8 by 15 or something?
8 by 12.
8 by 12 size, maybe 8 by 15. Anyway, they'll frame those and put them in their cabin. They keep using the wildlife art, but also each day on your calendar, almost each day, has a really interesting fact about wildlife, migration patterns, when sports shows are happening, interesting things that are going on in your backyard, when to feed wild birds.
My birthday.
Of course, that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
you actually give your address where to send cash, money, and gifts. So make
never
sure you
get
read.
any.
Yeah, well, surprise, they must not be reading it on that date. But
Hey.
that's a really unique calendar. The fact that it's been around since 1987. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I have an opening for a sales manager for the calendar. Would you want to apply?
We'll talk about the comp.
I'm sure I can't afford you.
Anyway.
What else do we need to talk about? We're just about out of time, Laura.
Well, if you haven't attended GameFair and you aren't an outdoor enthusiast whatsoever, or you have kids that love the outdoors and maybe you're not into it, or you have kids that want to fish and you don't know even where to begin, bring them to GameFair. This is an all-encompassing outdoor, festival event that is so unique. You're not going to find it really anywhere in the country unless you decide to go over to Europe. But you don't really understand it until you attend it. And with the seminars and the events going on, and you can sit and watch the doggy games, it really is a very unique event. It's affordable to get in, and you can walk away with some great prizes. You can get some dog training tips. If you're looking for puppies, it's a great place to find a breeder or a place to further investigate, maybe put your name on a list for puppies. There's not a lot of puppies for sale there. And we don't recommend necessarily buying puppies outside of GameFair because some people set up tents, and those are not part of GameFair. So just be aware of that.
Laura, give them the dates and location one more time.
Dates of GameFair this year, it's Friday, August 12th through the 14th. And then the following weekend, August 19th, which is Friday, through the 21st, 9 to 5. Free parking. Unless you want to park really close, then you might have to pay like $5 or something. But otherwise, there's free parking.
And where is it?
It is at Armstrong Ranch Kennels, which is located in Ramsey, Minnesota. So easy to get to. You'll spend all day there. The trick shooter is on typically around lunchtime, and then also 4:30 towards the end of the day. That's probably the most popular seminar. So if you want to make your time frame around that, and bring your dog.
Thank you very much, daughter Laura. That about does it for the Minnesota Bound podcast. The stories behind the stories, brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems. We'd also like to thank the Minnesota Historical Society, Minnesota Propane Association, Star Bank, my favorite bank, Hewitt Docks, and North Dakota Tourism. Until next week, what do we say, Laura?
Don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.